Welcome one and all to Dynasty Typewriter in downtown Los Angeles or thereabouts. Harmontown is once again in session. Let's bring out the game master, Mr. Spencer Crittenden. Oh yeah. Spencer sitting down on his desk couch.
It's a cabinet. It's got drawers on it.
I'm saying you got a full on couch. Oh yeah. It's more like a love seat.
It's like a fainting couch.
Speaking of love, let's welcome the sexiest seat in town, the mayor of Harmontown, Mr. Dan Harmon.
Oh, damn. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. I have to pick and choose. I had a couple things to talk about, but I got to go in order of importance, or I'll forget the most important thing, which is I looked into why balls hang off the body today, and for years, because I've always known that explanation that you've heard, which is like, oh, it takes like a degree cooler temperature for sperm to be either made or stored. And it's like, what? Like you're telling me they didn't figure out a way. It's just something rang false about it. And I always said it was the most scientific explanation. It was there needs to be cooler down there. And I found the thing that makes the most sense about what I learned is that part of the lie is that that's true. The balls are hanging down there for a temperature difference. But the darker, more sinister thing is that it's not necessary. It's not like, it's a deal breaker for the evolution of life. There's no other way to make sperm. It could never happen. Forget about storing them, and oh boy, sperm, they're so delicate, it's such an amazing process, and it needs to be this certain temperature. No, the sperm prefer it. They live longer and use less resources, so it's like a Groupon. It made such pride. I was like, that's it. Oh, the sperm they're running the show. They got like a lever they're pulling. They're like, let's take it up a notch. Get these balls down here.
There's that one sperm that comes into the ball and goes, is it hot in here? Can I go check? Can I go go to the AC and make it a little cooler in here?
That is what they're doing, because when sperm they're such simple organisms, like little ants. I know that's gross to think about ants in your balls, but what they share is that there's no circulatory system. There's nothing. Look, sperm have a longer, more comfortable life in your balls than they would in a cup of soup. And it's because they get heat activated. They know when they are and aren't in a vagina. But if they feel like they're kind of in a vagina, then they'll just be all hustle bustle, and they'll run out of their little lunches that their daddy packed for them. And the sperm can't have that. They want to live all day.
Well, that actually
they're just like us. That's what we are. We are sperm.
If they live in a constant body temperature, like 98.6 or whatever, and then they get into a vagina, they're just going to be like they're still in the jacuzzi. Like they're still going to be relaxed and chilling out.
No, but when they get into a vagina, and this is why whenever you've wondered, this is why you can understand why a science class would avoid this semantically. Because we're already uncomfortable. We're talking about, it knows when it's in a pussy. It's kind of weird to talk about, even in a health class or something, because it's like, it's too much. Sex ed, they try to keep everything separate. They're explaining all these things to you about what might happen and definitely shouldn't happen, why your body's going through changes. Do you have sex ed in school?
Yeah.
but they, they even if it's a co-ed thing, they kind of like, they don't, it's like they mention the act, but it's like this idea of like, well, the sperm, what you guys need to understand is that you're packing a population of 100 million torpedoes, and they want to be in one place, and once they get there, it's on. That's the part that's uncomfortable, is that when they get kind of heat activated, and then they're like, this is it. I've been waiting my whole life. This is where I'm gonna die, here in this desert or whatever. But they will also. The important thing to understand is that they're not. It's not like it's your. It's not that they would burst out on their own because they'd get so excited because your balls would be 1 degree warmer. It's just that it's the equivalent of them putting like cucumbers on their eyes at night. Like they're just living longer. They just want to be pretty. Like they want to they want to be kept in a cooler room.
Self-care.
Because it makes them eat less. Yeah.
Right.
It's like they're doing yoga or whatever. Like it's anything. It's like they're the sentience. That's the. I heard this thing on NPR about how when you're developing, like your first cells are your gametes. I mean, you are a 3D printer that refuses to. The species is like, I'm not going to use toner on a 3D printer that doesn't have a toner, like because the whole point is making more shit. And
right.
like, I imagine, like, for all the things that can go wrong in the womb and during like the gestation from blastocyst to viable fetus, there's a whole room full of us experiencing the glorious variations that can occur throughout that development. Many of them totally precluding an active chance at reproduction. But nature is like totally willing to lay those bets. But if you were like in the womb and it was like something fucked with the whole point of it, it probably shuts that down 1,000 times more often. It's not going to waste a penny on you. Your sperm are down in your balls, wagging the dog of your whole life. They're just like, I like it a nice 95 degrees. What a bunch of little dicks.
Am I making this up, or did I overhear someone say that that the slight variation in temperature will decide whether it's male or female?
Well, alligators do it that way. The alligators, their eggs, the temperature of them. Look, I've been to Florida. The alligators have that. The temperature determines gender of the eggs. Okay, so I don't get that at all.
Okay, all right.
But it kind of goes to show you, like, we might overstate the importance of like. The intricate. I mean, that's really shotgunning. Like that is playing like weird fire, isn't it? Like the alligators have their gender determination plugged into directly into the environment. Like they're prehistoric. They've been around forever. Mm-hmm. So probably like everything is just kind of an experiment. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, they take their sperm cell, basically their egg, and they put it in nature, and so nature is alligators' balls.
Yeah. But alligators do have balls.
I'm going to get that tattooed. That's how much I believe in that statement.
Alligators have testes, but they're located on the inside of the alligator, which is a natural place you'd put your testes. But those sperm would live to half their age, and they would feel so. Imagine the futility. Imagine being a sperm. I mean, they have a right, to like live their full sperm life. How dare we? And there's a muscle. It's something that I made my employees look into this today. When you have a writer's assistant, it just becomes it's so much better than Googling. Like you feel like you have like this legitimacy.
Johnson, I want to report on everything about balls on my desk tomorrow morning.
Look at balls. How come balls are dangling, bro? We're writing an episode about it. Can't sue me. Come on, ladies, talk about balls with your boss. I've learned nothing. That just occurred to me. Yeah.
How come balls are dangling is a great Google search string, I think.
I find you ever like I find myself saying this a lot lately when I find myself consistently saying I'll learn something and then I'll go, wow, that's simultaneously uplifting and downtrodden. Like, is that happening to you as you get older? Because it's like you're more tasting the sublime qualities of the universe, and you're kind of like, that's an interesting story, but you don't get as fired up about, did the good guys win or lose? You're just kind of like, there's another one of those stories, and you kind of like start getting off on the equilibrium of it. You're like, man, I don't know who I'm rooting for in that story.
Well, give me a for instance.
Boy, geez, I don't know. For instance, for cry eye.
For cry eye.
We don't remember nothing on this show.
That's true.
I don't know. I was just curious. It doesn't matter. I got high. Okay, let's. But that's a good segue because our guest is related to being high.
Whoa.
He made a little thing called Dope State with my studio, Starburns.
Hell yeah, he did.
And he's our new friend. Are you out there or are you back there, Gabe? I guess it doesn't matter.
I think he's out there.
Please welcome your new friend, Gabe Sunday, to the stage. Anywhere you like, but I think...
Oh, man. Okay, so first question. Where'd you get that outfit? I need it.
This is, I wore this because this was my, comfy... This is, my comfy editing gear.
That's great. I bought scrubs the other day, and this is like an upgrade of that.
For those listening, he's got kind of a flight suit, military jumper kind of thing.
I got my super tight shirt on. This is
Nice.
Starburns, right? Yeah, super tight.
You look like a guy in Top Gun that was the Top Gun's drug dealer.
The out gay one in Top Gun, the only one that's
you had clearance to get on the base, but they made you wear that, so you looked like you kind of fit in.
right.
I got too high.
That's perfect.
That's good.
That's perfect, man. It's great, man.
Do you find yourself do you ever get too high? I'll ask that question first.
Absolutely. I have a very precarious relationship with marijuana. I mean, I do crave it because I made a show about weed. It's like a mockumentary comedy series.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Tell me about what you were saying.
Yeah,
Jesus.
No, that's good. That was
or
good
just start
instinct.
naming fruits and I'll forget what I asked.
Stop
You
saying.
do have options.
Stop saying what you're saying. Go back to what you were saying.
I'm uncomfortable too, Dan.
Okay, that's good.
I'm in my
When
own
you
head.
get too
Apples.
high, can you describe getting too high? Because people use the word paranoid, and when I was in my 20s, I never understood what the old guys meant when they said, I can't smoke pot anymore, I get paranoid. And I never knew, I was like, first, that sounds fun. Like what, you take a drug that makes you think people are out to get you? Because nobody's ever been out to get you when you're 20, and so you're like, that sounds like a pill I'd take.
Right, yeah.
Like I play video games to be paranoid, but then sometime in my 30s, I'm gonna use my I statements. I keep using you, but I'm like, come on, Harmon, speak for yourself. Sometime in my 30s, I had that first I got too high, and I shouldn't be because I'm 30, and then I have rent due tomorrow, and the highness turn. I think that's what people mean when they talk about paranoia.
I think marijuana shows us things that we need to be attentive and pay attention to. You know, it's like, fuck, gotta call my dad back. It's been a few weeks, and fuck, I gotta check the thing, and this doesn't feel good. Like, what's here? Is this the lung, or is this the liver? I gotta go, and you start getting your head about that, and I really do feel like pot is a thing that points out things you need to be attentive to. And part of one of the reasons where I think paranoia and uncomfortableness comes from is people who maybe need to just check in with breathing and just being in their moment and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, to answer your question, most times I smoke weed, I'm like, fuck, I always forget this part where I smoke, and then I'm like, oh, we're back here again. It's like, oh, fuck, now I'm in that place. How long is this going to take?
Part of our group that I travel with a lot is a guy we travel with, and he doesn't like to fly, and he takes these little tiny, really, really low dosage, little mints that are weedy, kind of edible mints. Wheaties. And you got Bruce Jenner's on the cover of the thing. That's how old these are. And he gave me one. He's like, they put you right to sleep. I sleep on plants. He goes, but they're so relaxing. It's like all the anxiety that I feel like there's, you won't even know that you've taken it. I took it and I was fucking freaking out. I'm gonna play with my head in my hands, going, oh, like get me off of this fucking thing. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I remember being at an Animal Collective concert and biting my hand until it bled because I needed to be rooted in like reality. Like I bit my hand until I bled. Like I was
Whoa.
the guy in the crowd who was like, I'm having a good time. Like, you know, like this is fucking great. It's strawberry jam.
Yeah.
And I would say that like most of the times whenever I've been in because I made a weed show, which by the way makes it very difficult to sell your show because Broad City, they can smoke weed all day, but they won't sell commercials to a weed thing. Anyway, that's a whole separate thing. The thing about weed is like if you're in a weed show and you go to like a serious meeting or like a blah blah, it's always like, oh, we brought weed because you're the fucking weed guy. Like you like being really high, really really high right now, and
Right.
like it just becomes a thing that it's so normalized. But I'm still not. I have a very love-hate relationship with pot. I think it's a really fucking heavy drug. And
Spencer.
Hey guys.
should be respected.
I understand fashion when I'm high. I smoke a doobie, and then I'm like, yo, I need long pants. What's going on?
I mean, that's. I mean, it's true, and that manifests like that a thing of like it's like changing what you're paying attention to.
Yeah.
which never occurred to me. That's exactly what it does.
Well,
which,
yeah.
which, if you're doing well, if you're in a good space, it could be like your girlfriend's bra strap, or the fact that you need to breathe, like, but in a good way. No, it's like I was trying to create a list because I was like, why was your girlfriend's
That's a
bra
solid
strap?
start.
That's a bad one-item list because now you're just
Dan,
pervy guy that's like, sometimes the grass makes me twitchy, but it's cool with the chicks. I became a dazed and confused character. Which I've never seen the movie, but I saw the trailer and like. I'm so high, and then right now there's a paranoia that there's a voice going like, look at you, listen to yourself. Are you listening to yourself?
That's my paranoia. When I get paranoid, I was like, everybody knows that I'm too high, and they're going to make fun of me. They're going to ridicule me for being high and poke fun at me. And
Well, I'm here to tell you, it's how you'll live.
How do you, what's your uncomfort right now? Like you're at your own show.
Well, I'm
like,
getting
was
better.
parking or like what?
Oh no! Well, no, but it truly is. It's funny how it's not always like, oh, a mortgage and I got to hunt a spotted leopard next Wednesday. I'm trying to make up anxieties. I tried to improvise a list of anxieties. Number one was mortgage, and then I went straight to mythical creature hunting because I've never had to worry about anything.
Dan, go back to what you were saying.
Like that was where a normal person would have like, I gotta clean the gutters or tie my shoes or not enjoy total fucking psychic hegemony over all creatures great and small to the point where I have to create my own crises so that I can feel valuable. I can feel the tension of me pushing up against failure. As otherwise I don't know if I'm alive. Anyways, so you made this.
I'm just really happy I'm not high right now. Like I would be staring at you, being like, "Gotta think the funny thing. Gotta volley off that."
All right, so tell us about Dope State.
Yeah, thank you for saying
Hell
yes.
yeah.
Great smile from Jeff. I'm feeling rooted on here.
Yeah.
Dope State's show we made at Starburst Industries took a couple years and was it's a mockumentary set in the cannabis culture boom in California. And I play a handful of characters: dab girls, daddies, dealer. Oh, no, you play a dealer in it. And then we're surrounded by a lot of comedians, most of which are in the Starburn space, at least some degree, kind of passing through and showing everything from like Silicon Valley culture to the people getting pushed out of the industry, which is what I grew up around, growers and dealers who are now getting pushed out because of dispensaries and all that. So this first season, 6 episodes on Pluto TV, and it really focuses on the old school pot game that's being like completely just decimated by the big cannabis boom right now.
Pluto TV.
Pluto TV, it's free TV, Spence.
On Pluto and Earth.
Yeah. Channel 420. We're on the Weed channel, Channel 420.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
On brand.
Pluto TV is channel 420?
No. It's 420 on Pluto TV. So you get it on your phone, and then Channel 420 is the Weed.
Okay, I got
the
you.
The Weed channel.
A couple days ago, Cody informed me was the your last chance to get married and have your 50th anniversary be on
42069.
Yeah. And we were reaching for the keys, like on our way to City Hall, and then we were like, can you imagine trying to get that laugh 50 years from now? You'd be like, first I have to explain calendars to a fucking hologram of Pokemon that's just like coming through my id because no one's real anymore. Like there is no people. If there's people 50 years from now, I quit.
Yeah.
Spencer,
Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
do you have any opinions about the corporatization of marijuana?
I think it's there's the schism between legalization and decriminalization, and obviously in California we chose legalization, and that opens the door for big businesses to steal all the businesses of honest drug dealers without preventing drug dealing is just selling a product. The medicine people do it, and we say it's great. But they're just taking all the business from all these earnest, hardworking folk that have been fulfilling a big need and getting arrested for it, which is bad.
And obviously, they're not. I don't even know why I have to ask this out loud, but probably because there's probably some discussion about it. Why am I explaining why you ask questions?
Because you're high.
You're high as bat pussy right now.
Whoa.
Bat pussy.
And they sleep upside down.
I got belfries.
Yeah.
They sleep upside down.
That's about as high as
They live in
it gets.
belfries and they sleep upside down.
I heard that from Steve Agee. I'm like, that's the greatest stuff I've ever heard in my life.
You don't get any higher in the animal kingdom
they
than a
sleep-
bat pussy.
Yeah.
They sleep on the ceiling, but upside down, so their head is lower than their pussy.
Right.
And it's not just bat genitals because the male bat penis immediately
hangs
flops
down.
down like an ironing board in a hotel as soon as it goes to sleep. And it's just every inch counts. Ask the people that built the belfry. Why'd you put that cross up there if it wasn't to beat the church across the street? In this arms race for God's grace. What am I saying?
No, this is good. This is good.
It's a legalization is
Some
basically
ASPD stuff.
What? Why?
the propositions are passed and then legalization's pushed through.
Should I get you some popcorn or something like that? You want some
We can
snacks?
get some
Just
pizza?
call the police. Just.
Oh, I did. They're coming.
I just want to talk to someone that'll put me straight.
No, this is actually perfect because I'm experiencing the other side of the pot thing. Like, if you're having a little bit of like uncomfort, I was really high yesterday at the Renaissance Fair.
Oh man, we didn't go to another Ren Fair. miss.
George R. Martin was there 2 years ago. I
you
saw him. He had a little
2
like
years ago.
dinky dragon on his shoulder. Like he was walking around, just buying his meats and drink. He was having a ball.
Just buying his meats.
But I'm
There's a great
exper-
butcher shop there. You go get a nice tenderloin.
Big
pork
turkey
chops,
leg.
yeah.
I'm experiencing the next day weed lackadaisical lethargia of like the mind of like bat pussy. I got something to say about that. And then it's like someone pressing against my forehead, just like setting me back. Like that's what I get. That's the negative side effects for weed for me is like
A hangover.
is like that. Yeah, the weed hangover. I hate the weed hangover.
I love it.
No.
I'm trying to stop smoking weed. I've been getting paranoia and panic attacks lately. Not great. I was in line somewhere. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I might have been having a heart attack, actually.
And you pace back and forth, and you're like checking your pulse because if you're gonna have a heart attack, you want to be the first to know.
Right. No one else
And
is
the way
going
to
to
do
notice.
that, kids, is to just always check your pulse.
Is that just after smoking? Like you just after smoking?
It
you get
was in that case, yeah. In these war movies, like a bombshell goes off nearby the person,
Right.
and they have this ringing in their ears, and they can't hear anything. That was happening to me, and I was like, wait, that doesn't happen in real life. That's a movie thing. I'm dying. And
No, I swear I was going to mention that. Like and then I thought, don't bring that up. Like that's a subjective experience for you.
But-
It's interesting that you brought that up.
yeah, because you probably heard people say, I get panic attacks. And
Yeah.
I never looked up what a panic attack was. And I was like, yeah, I freak out all the time. What? But like, no, a panic attack is like a medical thing where it feels like you're having a heart attack or whatever. It's terrifying. And
Yeah.
that's been happening. It's no good. I've been trying. I smoked on 420, but I haven't really smoked the last couple of weeks. I don't think I'm going to keep smoking.
Now, do you think, gentlemen, for the panel,
Yes.
do you think that is a function of biology, chemicals, or anything, or is that more psychology? Your life changing and getting high, having the same effect on you that your parsing it differently because your life is changing.
I would guess aging has something to do with it. And I've read just long-term weed use leads to different side effects than short-term weed use. So after you've been doing it for several years, it can actually affect you psychologically differently than the first 7 years or something. So it might just be like late weed use or something.
Man, when did we become such squares?
I mean, I've heard of it. I think it's pretty common for people as they get older to be like,
Yeah.
I was really into weed, and then now I'm feeling like all those negative things, and I've got no time for it. But like, it does, yeah, it has. Especially being recently like doing promotion and all this for this, and like been thrusted into the scene of like go weed, like it's the fucking thing for everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
CBD.
Yeah, and CBD, and well, I've had some really good experiences with CBD that didn't freak me out, but like it's still a pretty intense drug that thrown into. It's just not all the heal all end all, and I think it's more of that. It's got this collective excitement behind it, which is wonderful. Like I love that, but it's also like you can't throw it into any mental situation.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and especially like edibles. Like I thank God we're in a day where you can pick out the thing for the airport, because like okay, my mom would hate that I would tell. My mom would not like that I would tell this story because there's still a little shame in my family between weed. But my mom grew pot this year. And like she got like 2 pounds. It was like a huge amount. I don't know. Is that like an illegal amount?
What's
Like,
her
Oh,
address?
my parents are gonna get like raided now. Yeah. And my mom was like, she doesn't smoke, but she wanted to like make it for her kid and his friends. And,
Wait, your mom? She wanted to give it a shot. She grew 2 pounds.
yeah, well, she's a fucking Bay Area like green thumb lady. She's like, I planted the pot. Now we have like
I was gonna say,
40
like, is she a
pounds of it.
CIA agent? Like, is it
No,
just like
no.
everything she does, or no? She's got a green
She's
thumb.
got a green thumb.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it was adorable. She gave and so my adorable 72-year-old mother, 71, she was cooking it to make us these little space balls. And when you cook THC,
So
and
what's a space ball?
space ball is like a little thing like this big, and you put. Is that like not a term that
It's
people
like a
know?
baked good?
like a space cake. Space
Yeah,
ball?
I've heard space cake. I've heard, but these come in
These little-
spherical form.
Little like munchy things that are healthy, made out of organic stuff. But what she didn't know is that when you cook it into oil, that psychoactivates the weed, and then it's
It
oil.
catalyzes the psychoactivation of process.
Right.
I mean,
Science
if
word.
you want to get
Wait, so
technological.
it intensifies the psychoactive.
No.
part of it?
It turns it on, right? Weed is not. The psychoactive property of weed is not really turned on unless it's heat activated, from what I know. And when you put that into oil and you cook it, it's hot, it's ready. And my mom then, without gloves, started making these little space cakes with like.
This
like-
is not where I thought the story was going at all.
So I get a call from my sister. I'm in a wedding, and I get a call. Like, you gotta come home.
Oh, my God.
Mom is gone. I was like, well, I had
tripping
one of them. Like,
balls.
it's a little heavy, but like, just tell her to sit down, put on some Discovery, whatever. And I come home, and my mom had ingested like an ounce of pot, and she was puking. She was freaking out. Watching my mother, go through like a bad trip, which was all, it was. And she was so scared, and I sat with her, and she was like, Gabe's home. Gabe, like it was like deathbed shit, and and she was like grabbing for me. She's like, I can't look, it's too bright. And every time she'd open her eyes, she'd be like, oh no, like it's too bright. And then
She's like, did Red Dead Redemption come out yet?
I missed it.
You're like, Mom, I've never seen you like this.
And she like grabbed me and like held me and like held my hand, and she was like shaking, and I was like, Mom, I've been to Burning Man like 8 times. You're the fucking highest person I have ever seen. And it was legit. It was topical. It was like it went into her hands. She didn't smoke any of it. And then it got awesome because I sat with her and we did like Tektahan, like breathing shit, and like I leaned into her ear and I was like, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I sat with her for 2 hours, and pretty soon my mom was like, we're spinning to the left, Gabe, and you're with me, and it's us, and we're spinning to the left, to the left, to the
Hell yeah.
That made me so relaxed just now.
I recorded it. She was like, "Listen to what I'm saying to you and never forget." And it was
Always to the left.
right, back and to the left, and I'm like, "Whoa!"
The Holocaust happens. Don't let them convince you.
Follow the money.
Soylent Green is
Follow
people.
the money.
Everything to the left.
Shit came out. She was like, "Get everybody from the family out here right now." So we all come out. My dad's there. My dad, who has no idea how to handle this shit, he's like, "Honey, your kids love you." My mom's like, "Stop it! Don't talk to me about anything." Like it was coming up, and I was like, "Mom, Jesus Lord, like fucking get it." She's like, so, but
Wow.
we ended up holding hands, and I was crying and she was crying, and it like.
And to what extent, I get the feeling, I think, from talking to you before, but I kind of hope I'm wrong, that your parents are kind of, on the front side of this box, your parents aren't like principals in a Pringles commercial. They're your parents were hippies, right?
Mr. and Mrs. Mike Pence. Yeah. Back into the left. Fuck, mother. Fuck.
No flavor crystals in my library. Whoa, it's fucking reefer. It's a little, but somehow that makes it more endearing.
Yeah, I mean, she grew it, and my dad was.
She grew it.
Yeah, she grew it.
That's all you need to know about that answer.
But she grew it, and then my dad was like, yeah, he just was uncomfortable about the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, we're in like the Bay Area, and that. But I still say to anybody listening, with the whole normalization of shit, we got to catch up with this crap. You fucking can't cook your weed and touch it with your hands. Like, that must be happening all over to moms.
I went to
moms across
cool,
the nation.
like, making their kids up their weed and.
I don't know how much
somebody
that's
gave me a
happening.
big ball of hash, and someone told me how to make butter out of it, and so I made this just like butter the exact color of your jumpsuit, like this really khaki green, like
Really into the jumpsuit.
And he showed me how to make butter, and I did heat it. I put it in the thing, and I made cookies out of it, and I thought I'm gonna take a half a cookie. Give it like a few hours. Let's do the baseline control group thing and see if it. I got a little high. It was good, and I was dating a chick at the time, and she came over, and we were going to go out and do something, and I forgot all about it that I'd taken it, and I wasn't like tripping, like crazy, and she's sitting on my couch, and she's like, Jeff. And I kind of snap out of a trance, and I go, oh, sorry, what? And she goes, are you okay? I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, you've been standing looking at the window for 10 minutes. I was like, yeah, that tree. She's like, she just sat there. She's like, what is he doing? I was like, oh, yeah, I got high earlier. So then I go, these are pretty good. And I took 2 and went to, here's a bad idea. Anybody see the movie Coraline?
Don't see it.
In
Bad
3D?
idea.
Do not see that on way too much edibles. I was sitting with Jay.
Jeff, that movie never came out in 3D. That was.
But I was sitting.
That was a rare 2D only movie by decree of a special dimensional commission.
I was with Jay Johnston and somebody else, maybe Mark Rivers. I don't know who it was, and I was like so freaked out. I was so paranoid. I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't do the 3D thing because they were flying into my head.
Sure.
And it was like get
all
out.
the Coralines.
Like I was trying to defend my brain from all of these demons and monsters and shit coming at me. But if I took the glasses off, that's worse because now it's all blurry and fucked up. So I didn't want to just sit there with my head in my hands. And we're at the arc light right in the middle, and it's so dark in there. In the arc light in Hollywood, I'm sure they all are. But no, man.
As opposed to those really bright movie theaters.
The Hollywood one is fucking dark. I went to Pasadena. I'm like, fucking, I could see my popcorn, bro.
It's like film snobs go there. It's like a richer black.
Yeah.
It's a higher quality black. It brings out the silver and the nitrate behind the film.
Yeah.
No exit sign.
And so, but I was like, if I try to get up and walk out here, I'm gonna fall over everybody, and I'm gonna break my neck and make a fool of myself. It's like I'm not gonna make it through this movie, and I wanted just to sit there with my head in my hands, but then I was gonna ruin the movie for my people next to me. So I toughed it out, and I don't remember anything about that movie except my own just freak out. And we all went and we went our separate ways at the end. I think we all met there, and I calmed down towards the end. And the next day, I called up those guys I was with, and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know if you noticed. I'm sorry. Like I was fucking high, and like I was freaking out the whole movie." And they're like, "Dude, I was too." All three of us were in the exact same boat. We were afraid to like if I would have known
Men,
that we
just talk about it, man.
Like, to the left. To the left.
You guys were all like, man, of all the nights to roll with the Coraline intensive crew. Like you're like,
my God.
shit, fuck. You're supposed to be totally intense about watching Coraline in this group. And you were all just high.
Yeah. If you know where I live and you go through my trash can, when's trash day? Thursday? Yeah. If you go through my trash can, there's drugs in there. Because somebody gave me these beautifully...
Noted.
That's a great cold open to your next story. Yeah. Is that what that was?
Well,
What a paranoid thing to say, Jeff.
It was like a Wizard of Id panel right
you
before.
fucking all know where I live.
Yeah. I know you're going through my fucking trash. If you do it again tonight.
Hi, folks. My name's Jeff Davis. Who am I? Let's put it this way. You go through my trash tomorrow, there'll be drugs there. Welcome to the show. I like the hash browns and scrambled eggs. And then you're like, anyways, the A story this week is I lost my keys. But anyways, continue, please.
So there's a guy that used to go to the drawing room, and he's let's call him a drug dealer, and
Let's get rid of this shame culture.
yeah,
Just be a drug dealer.
He brought drug-flavored drugs, and I paid him money for them. And then he had money, and then I had drugs, and now some of them are in the trash can.
Stop calling yourself a friend that has drugs when your friends have money and want drugs.
Yeah.
You're a drug dealer, man.
Exactly.
Own it.
So he's given me a wide variety of like I like the more of the hallucinogenic thing, and so he gives me mushrooms sometimes, and he gave me some acid once, and I took it too late and I fell asleep. And don't sleep on acid. That's the worst.
What happens when you sleep on acid?
Fucking incredible.
I fell asleep on the couch
takes.
after I watched Cabaret, the movie.
Oh my God.
It's great.
Like on acid?
On acid, it was fantastic. But then I fell asleep on the couch. Oh, Cabaret on acid, fucking do it.
Too demonic without the acid. Is it an inversion?
It starts up. I was like, I had to hit pause. I'm like, I've seen this movie 100 times. I'm like, I'm gonna watch Cabaret on acid. And Joel Grey's face pops up in the first scene with a and his face was like this Ralph Steadham drawing. It was fucking great. Oh yeah. So anyway, I fell asleep and I was still really going. And you're inside this crazy like fireball of imagery that's inside your eyelids.
A champagne supernova?
And you have to keep opening your eyes to like to get back to just where's the plant? Where's the TV? Like plant me somewhere. You close you're just tripping with your eyes closed, half asleep. Do it. I don't recommend that. At any rate, he came in one day and he goes, "Hey, I've got these things. I know you like mushrooms." He goes, "I've got these. They look, the little Dove chocolate bars, little tiny ones that are wrapped in the red foil. They're kind of square and rounded on the top. They looked exactly like that, like professional wrapping Dove chocolates." And he goes, "These are mushroom and a little marijuana." I'm like, "Okay, that sounds pretty groovy."
Hey, where's the
Ice
medicine
bucket?
that counteracts the...
Steve, bring the ice and such.
Okay, now continue.
Vodka, please.
Just a little advertisement there.
I got you. No, yeah.
For Brewmate.
Yeah,
with the umlauts.
Popeye needs a spinach, baby. You got to fucking have that vodka.
This show is tragically brought to you by alcohol.
Kettle One.
Hello, Steve Levy. Steve Levy, everybody.
Steve Levy's in episode 3 of Dope State. Check out Steve Levy in a very tight turtleneck, looking like
How are we supposed to see your
Steve
show?
Jobs.
Let's sponsor your story with his show.
Oh yeah.
How are we
Brought
supposed to
you
see it?
Pluto
by
TV.
Pluto TV.
Pluto TV, you can get the app or you can go to pluto.tv, but get the app and go to Channel 420
Channel
every
420.
Friday for the next 5 weeks. Every Friday at 420, you can see a new episode of Dope State, and then at the end of that, it'll be on all the VOD ports and such.
Hell yeah.
And our promos will be Jeff Davis singing Cabaret. What good is staying alone in your room?
That's the finale. That's not the
Is
the
it?
beginning.
Were you tripping out when all the little blonde Nazi boys were like walking in a line in the movie? Were
Yeah.
you really-
Tomorrow belongs to me. That's fucking good.
I've
great
never
scene.
seen Cabaret because
great.
if I wanted to take acid, I'd take acid. I see the commercials for it, and he's like, "Welcome, bienvenue," and I'm like, "No, I won't do it.
My parents,
I'm already scared of life."
My parents took me to I saw that with Joel Grey at the Music Center, or like one of the.
he goes to see his own shows. You went with him?
I went to go see. Wow,
Yeah.
I went to go see with my parents. So I was like 6 or 7 years old. We went to go because we would go to see everything, like big plays that came to LA, and I was sitting there like 7 years old, 6 years old, and it's about Nazis and like lesbians and abortions, and like I remember thinking like looking at my parents like, this really isn't for me. I mean I didn't know what any of it meant, but I remember thinking the people sitting near me, they're going to be like, there's a kid right here.
Yeah.
And the way home, I'm in the car and I'm going diddly dee dee, two ladies, doodly doo doo. It's a song about menage a trois, and my parents were just laughing. I remember that. I had no idea what it was. So anyway, the guy comes in with his chocolates, and I buy the chocolates, and I take the chocolate, and I thought. And I thought, like I didn't like it because the mushroom thing happens, but then the weed comes in, the edible thing came in.
Wait, you were on acid and THC?
No. This is different.
Okay, different time.
Different thing. So I just it's not a good story. I tried them twice and I didn't like them because the weed part. I'm like you. Weed fucks me up. Like I get way too. Affected by marijuana.
Well, now if the people, cannabis people, I smoke my fair share of weed and I can get down. But
You're still cool.
yeah, I'm still cool.
You still got it.
By the way, I don't want to be distracted by this for the rest of the night, but I can help you with that story. I'm kind of like a Hollywood script doctor.
Whoa.
But if you want to, if you want to meet about it, if you want to put something
Do
together,
it.
like I'm between projects, I've failed at all the other ones, and so.
Okay, this is Dan Harmon punches up Jeff's edible story.
Oh, I just want to put my hat in the ring, man. Oh, all right. Well, look, I want to work with you on finding the
Okay.
Why
don't we all kind of bang it out together right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you, and you were you finished? Because I didn't want to.
I'm not going to interrupt the flow now. No.
And the unspoken part of that is, unlike you, Dan, I'm not a flow interrupter.
Damn.
Or are you telling me that I'm somehow able to reverse project shaming? Because then I think I'd be a superhero. If I could take anything that you said and turn it into me feeling bad about myself, I mean, I'd be out there fighting crime right now. Because who wouldn't want that power?
Reverse projecting shame.
I can turn. I could find shame in. I've never thought about trying to use it for good. I will find shame in anything.
Okay.
It's not a challenge.
This area rug beneath your feet.
It
rug
reminds
shaming.
me of the fact that I don't know enough about carpet, and that the last time I was in like an IKEA, I saw like a rack of rugs, and I was like, maybe I need a rug, and then I was like, I don't know anything about rugs, and kind of ran away from the. And I was like 25 and I was in an IKEA. That's a time to just grab a rug, man. Like I fucking missed my life because I didn't want to buy a rug wrong. That's fucking sick.
What about when my mother told me that I was the only person that mattered to her, and she was coming out of a drug trip, and we got through it together, and we sang and cried together.
Find shame.
You want to find
Yeah.
shame in that? I
Yeah.
thought you were.
Yeah.
I was like.
You
yeah.
you looked at me like this is.
I know. I
this is
thought
a wonderful
you
story.
were gonna share. You're like, and then my mom turned to me and said, "I really wish that you had pursued architecture." And you walked out into the front lawn, and you heard a single gunshot, and
Whoa.
and a church bell.
There wasn't even a church.
Did I ever say on stage? I think I did say it. That just the heart of man. We were like the community writers room. Remember the episode where Abed takes the class taught by the guy who's going to teach you who was the boss.
Yeah.
And like I think I'm not. I know I've said this publicly before, but probably not a lot. But like we had so much like there's Abed finishes with the guy, like he beats him. He figures out who the boss was, and he walks out of the class having bested his teacher. And we really wanted to like have him walking across the quad, and you hear like bells, but then you also just hear this single gunshot. There's a shot of Stephen Tobolowsky in the episode. So I have receipts for this because there's a shot of him opening a drawer and looking at like what was really happening. Like we switched that out. That was me and Chris McKenna like going like, well, we got to put something in the drawer. It was going to be a gun. And I think there's a gun in the drawer.
I think there is a gun, but it's a joke because he like pushes it and then finds the book or something, right?
Okay. He pushes the gun out. Boy, that wouldn't even fly today. Like guns aren't even funny. Like it's like it wouldn't even be.
I think it would have been awesome.
But anyway, we were really like struggling with that. I was like, you can't. Like I pitched it, and everyone was like, you got to do that. With having Abed like walk across the quad, and you just hear a single gunshot. But the important thing is Abed doesn't turn his head. He stops and pauses and then keeps walking.
Doesn't that happen though? I could be like, there's no gunshot, but doesn't he? I thought maybe I'm just misremembering, but I thought he does. Like, there's a time where he is walking and then he stops, but there's just you don't hear a gunshot.
Maybe we shot it and we just didn't do the gunshot.
I can't remember.
Oh my god, damn, yeah, that's.
So my mother shot herself that night. And it was.
All right, so I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Oh, how can I turn that into shame? I mean, I don't have a healthy relationship with my mother. Like that's easy. How can you take this beautiful thing and turn it into shame? That's a fucking. You turn it upside down.
Sure.
Like, how do you make this smile unhappy? Like by being a fucking barbarian of shame. By using brute like happiness inversion. Very simple. Oh, you were happy? Well, I should have been. Done. Oh, that rainbow's pretty? I'm not. That's shame 101. I mean, fucking, I want to say challenge me, but I'm afraid you'll challenge me and I'll look like a horrible person because I should look like that. I'm a monster.
What about the moon landing?
I feel bad that the podcast isn't about going to the moon anymore.
Nice.
Wow.
Master.
I
didn't realize I threw you a lob
We
on that
had
one.
something going there, and you did what you always do, Dan.
We did that for
fucked it up. You fucked it up. You can't just leave well enough alone. You gotta overthink. You gotta change. You gotta evolve. You're a moving target with a gun to your head. No one cares. Stop moving. Or put the gun down. So, Gabe, what streaming media do you think that... with no more Nielsen's, like, how will we reach the youth?
I do have a point about that.
Whoa.
The service that we're on, Pluto. Does anybody here have Pluto TV?
Pluto TV.
All right, there we go.
One guy.
One guy who may be lying.
He's got
no
offense.
offense.
If he is, well, anyways, continue, please.
The whole bit. If you're in Los Angeles or New York and you're listening to this right now, they're doing like this huge press push for it of like just ads everywhere, and it's like free TV, and it's like the next generation of entertainment, all that, and you go on it. And it looks just like cable, right? It like you scan through and it's got commercials, and so it's like, oh, that's the system is like commercials. It's free TV because you've got commercials. So I think that's the next step is like cycling back to where we were.
We used to call that TV.
Right. It's like cycling back, to. Yeah.
Well, it would only be like the old days if the media providers somehow merged until there were only three of them. That's never going to happen because the internet.
Is it all original content or like?
No, it's like a good mix. You can watch like America's Most Wanted, and then you can go see like an Inarritu film. Like they've got like a pretty interesting. They got like a pretty interesting layout of things. And channels are like like weed or slow motion or like animals or whatever. Like it's more thematically
slow
like
motion.
Yeah, it's called slow.
Like kind of satisfying kind of videos or
Yeah.
that's awesome. That means no.
I don't work for this company. I can't. I could have pitched that way better if I.
But you look.
Yeah.
Now I either want to watch it or I'm never gonna. But like,
I want to watch
stakes got
it.
really high. You were like,
The commercials are slow.
you were painted in a corner there on your advocacy of slow.
It just seems cool. I don't know.
No, it's cool, and they got supermarket sweepstakes. That's good. I like.
Hell
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? Yeah. They got good stuff.
Oh, so yes. See, I went a trip to Rome with Matt Gurley on Shop Till You Drop, and everyone confuses it with supermarket sweep. I'm like, no.
No, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
She's livid.
Wait, what are you guessing about?
She's excited.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're gonna love Dope State. It's nothing like either one of them. It was shot 20 years later, and yeah.
She had both of her hands in the air, freaking out about Shop Till You Drop.
loves it.
Yeah, you were.
Supermarket
I mean,
sweep.
you hit her. It was like a 1-2 too. I heard her individual. She went yes, and then that was like a step up, and then it was like I got it. Like I mean, I got it when you said after she was, yes, and then she was like yes.
Right.
Like why is he talking about both of them? Because I mean, it makes sense that you'd maybe be a connoisseur, right? Of like shopping.
Well,
I mean,
Well,
like these two
they
things that
ran
did
back
the
to
same
back,
thing.
so you'd watch the whole hour, right? Yeah.
I just what all right. What,
Me and my friend
I'm gonna interview you. I like what do you like so much about shopping carts? What
drugs do your mom do? What does your mom?
Let's bring her up on stage. Come up on stage, shopping person.
If you'd like to come up, you can, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
Hello, what's your name? Danielle, everybody.
Danielle, have a seat.
Oh God.
You don't have to stay up here, Danielle. I just thought it'd be funny.
All right. Okay.
Jeff leans toward bringing people up. He's
it.
like
It's okay.
he knows it can lead to magic.
What show brought you here that you spent 2 years of your life making? How did you earn your way to this? How did you earn your way to this stage?
Oh.
Listen,
We all
work,
get jealous.
I actually work for a supermarket, so both
Whoa.
those shows.
Do you sweep?
I sweep so hard.
Hell yeah.
What's your title at the supermarket, if I
I
can
am a
ask?
human resource manager.
Whoa.
So you're in charge of all the employees, like whether they have it's HR. What am I?
Yeah.
Human resources. Yeah. So it's like they have complaints.
Oh, I hate
or
it.
Or do you have to come down on them though? Like if they're not working hard enough, or do you just?
Yeah, you're who they send in when they get fired, right? You're the fire
yeah,
person?
I'm the hiring and firing person. So I hire them and then fire them.
How do you fire someone without sucking your thumb and throwing a
Oh no,
tantrum?
the store manager actually does it, so I just sit there and just yes him. Yeah.
This guy knows.
Do they when
Make
they,
sure he's PC about it.
when they fire someone at this establishment? Is there a ritual to it?
Oh yeah. You have to make sure it's legit reason.
Right,
can't
because they
just-
could sue, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, there's
It's
that.
horrible.
Yeah.
Good point, Jeff.
It's horrible. I don't know where I'm looking. Sorry.
No, no.
I'm sorry.
No. People do that all the time. I've accepted it as a dynamic of the stage. It's no one's fault.
I'm just hearing things.
You
No, you're
say
doing great. You're
legitimate,
doing great.
but it's got to be like by the book. Like I was fired from Baskin Robbins, Togo's Baskin Robbins, because I was taking too many samples for myself, so I stole ice
Yes.
cream or whatever. And
Yes.
so, but like, does it ever feel like you're being pushed to like put someone in a box? Like, oh, they're not allowed to do this specific thing, so they were like doing it. Like, you know, it has to be by the book, right? Do you ever like
Yeah.
put people in that book?
No,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no.
I mean, why would you admit to that? I suppose.
No.
You know what I find interesting though, because they like Sony would send a lawyer every year on a Sony show. They send a lawyer to like give you a talk about like what's constitutional and what's not and stuff. But it's weird because it's coming from their perspective because it's like about what's going to protect them because you don't sue any higher than them. So if someone sues me and then it's not worth it. Blah blah blah. So Sony has this vested interest in like explaining when it's okay to fire someone and when it's not. What I find fascinating is, of course you can't fire someone because of this whole list of constitutionally protected attributes, but you can fire someone because you don't like the look of their face. Like you just have to specify, right? You just have to be like, yeah, I don't like them. I don't like their personality. Isn't that true? Like you don't need like a good reason to fire someone. There's just like a category of reasons that are illegal.
Yes.
Right.
We only fire someone if they're stealing or stealing.
I mean,
That's
what's
like-
That's the two things?
So if somebody's fucking on the apples,
They're stealing hygiene.
If a customer complains enough, we have to let them go.
right?
So Dan's incorrect. You can't fire someone because you don't like the look of their face, which is based on what? Like, where did you get that
Race.
idea that that's a thing?
I thought that was the message
Has
I got
Sony
from
told you that?
yeah, that's what they say. They're like, because they walk you through these scenarios where they're like, so and so wants to fire so and so, but it was sort of like they didn't say here's what you say if you want to fire them, but they were kind of like, is this guy firing her for, I was like, why are their genders known? No.
Is retail
How come
and
there's no
Sony,
women at this
like,
meeting about how to fire
It's
women?
exactly the same.
Yeah.
So the same.
Is weed one of the things that you can fire people from if they smoke weed?
So we can't accuse someone of being intoxicated or high, but if we smell it, then we can be like, hey, like what's? If they admit to it, then we can fire them.
Oh, I dodged a bullet.
No, but technically,
Bearded man with a hat getting mad about the weed thing.
it's the same thing as being intoxicated at work. If you are high or intoxicated and you admit to it, then we can fire you.
But
Do you ever like, hey, be real with me?
No,
Like,
I'm like,
listen,
you give me some.
listen,
I'll
David,
take
I'm-
take my HR hat off, and then they're like, yeah, I did a J in the parking lot just to be cool, and you're like, well, two things you need to know: that's not cool, and the hat's always on. You're out of here, fucking pot face. It's head. I don't know your drug terms.
Danielle, so if someone comes in and their eyes are glassy and red and they smell like weed, and you go, excuse me, are you intoxicated on the marijuanas? And they go, no, man.
I can't do nothing. I can't
Really?
do any- I can't
That's
do anything.
awesome. I love that.
I auditioned for a job at a children's museum exhibit with Sean McKenna. I don't think I've ever told this story.
Audition.
That's why I'm excited, because I'm like, wow, that's one I don't think I've ever told, because I'm so deeply ashamed of it that I went with I'm doing improv troops, and I'm just like living the life of like I use most of my paycheck to buy weed, and then to buy gas to get to do more shows, and I'm just kind of living the fucking pre-panic attack life.
It's great.
And I God damn it, hurry up and remember why you interrupted everyone and tell your
auditioning.
fucking thing. I like my buddy Sean was like, I mean, I was his roommate. I lived in his attic when I was at the peak of that phase, and it was like he and I were like in the kind of category of like, well, you can have lots of shows because you're the only ones guaranteed to be home when we call. Like everyone else is like trying to be an adult. So like you guys are like really dedicated to improv. And in air quotes, meaning you're fucking on the couch straight up. And like, I think that he and I never talked about it, but afterward, because I think we both really didn't want to face this, but like I remember we got this opportunity through some mutual friends of ours. So like they're like, hey, they're adding this thing at the museum and the children's wing. Like they want to do these like fucking what's his name, Bill Nye kind of things, like based on the popularity at that time of like, hey, science is cool, and they want to add like live shows. You do like a Beekman thing or something at this thing, and it was like, oh, this will be cool. And they're having open auditions, and me and Sean went in, and we talked about it for a while, and we were like, well, let's do this and that. We came up with an audition, and we went in, and we were like, boy, I was thinking in my head, like, you never know. You never know which of these little stepping stones is going to be the thing you look back on and you go, well, I used to just play Resident Evil, and then, like, all of a sudden I bought my first tie. And that you don't know what's that thing that's going to happen, and it just felt like it might be one of those, which makes me sound square because it makes me sound like my ambition was to get a tie, but it just made me, like, grow up. And I remember, like, we did our thing, and there were like 4 people in this like auditorium watching, and I knew 3 of them because I was like, yeah, but this is like, it's Milwaukee, but this is how you move forward, and it's like, I'm ready, let's do this, and like here's what I do. It's just like, it's an audition. There'll be a script, like this is our style, and Sean and I played off each other, and all right, well, thank you, all right, see you later. We went home. Like a day later, one of the people that worked at the museum was like, hey, you guys, like, your audition was great. Like, they loved you guys. That was amazing. It's that you guys were so funny. You reeked so bad of marijuana and booze. Like it was just coming off of you. There was just a cloud of pot and booze around you everywhere you went, and everyone was like, could smell it and was all like, how hilarious is this that they're auditioning to teach children science and they smell like a fucking child ruiner. And I remember Sean and I like both just laughing about it, going like, I guess we did smell like weed, and that's why the system's not ready for us. But I can't speak for him, but I died a little inside. Like I was like, that was probably your last chance ever to do anything with your life. All right. Anyways, so how? All right.
I have a question for Daniel.
Okay.
So you're in the room for these firings. Have you how ugly has it gotten? Do people like throw stuff and freak out? And
People usually just admit to it, and they're like, all right, see you later.
Stealing. They admit to stealing.
Right.
Oh, always. They're like, yeah, I did it. Or even
Don't they understand that's what you want them to do, so you can get the power to fire them?
Yeah, and they don't understand the concept of like, if you admit to it, you can't claim unemployment or do anything because you admitted to it. So I always get the emails from the lawyers being like, hey, why'd you fire this person? Like, they admitted to stealing, or they admitted to being drunk or high. And they don't get like, I don't understand why I didn't get unemployment. Because you admitted to just doing all these wrong things.
God, are you saying I could have gotten employment from my Togo's Baskin Robbins job?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Only if you were a liar.
Wasn't me, man.
You needed to be a more dishonest person in the fiber of your being.
If you ever get
country.
called in, just deny everything.
Yeah.
It works.
And I'm best friends with my loss prevention guy, so he always tells me, like, if you ever get caught, just deny it.
Damn, I feel like I'm going to be able to work with you to steal some TVs pretty soon.
Let's go. Me and you.
They give you
Teamwork.
physicals for insurance when you're going to be involved in a TV production, and everyone is like, don't
Don't
tell them the truth.
I said,
Everyone's they're like it's not. I know you got that story about it. It's like they're mad at you if you tell the truth. You're going to cause everybody a bunch of trouble.
I think that's why I never worked for that company again. Like I think I had a black mark on me for just saying. You mean to tell me? Like, look at our cast. Nobody here has ever smoked a joint. Like no one here. Like, come on now.
I mean, but yeah, it is crazy to me. But
Well, that's their society. So they just like bald-faced lies when everyone knows you're lying. That just works now. It's fine.
like you didn't know you're supposed to lie. That is really crazy to me.
When I, maybe I've talked about this. When I was a big shoplifter in like college, I used to steal anything just for no reason, and I stole books a lot from Barnes and Noble or another company. It could have been any company.
Walden Books.
I just said forget. It was Borders. Because Borders was around when I was in college, and no, it wasn't. At any rate, a friend of mine used to work there, and he said if you steal anything, even if they think or know that you're walking out of the store with something, we are not allowed to follow you.
Yeah, they could call the cops, and the cops don't know who you are. You're just gone.
Yeah,
and the cops
exactly.
don't care.
Wait, say that again.
If you could like pick up a stack of books off the shelf and go taking these.
Right.
And walk out of the store, they are not allowed to come out and get you.
They can't touch you either.
It's true.
You're kidding.
It's true.
This is like kind of almost the opposite of what I was thinking would be the case. That they can't do anything to
No.
you in the store, and they have to wait for you to leave, at which point
No.
they'll tackle you. And I bet I learned that from a fucking movie they used to terrorize students.
No. So once you leave the store, loss prevention can go out and confront you. And if you say no, they can't touch you. They can't make you come back in the store. And that's it.
Oh.
You can be like, okay, I'm calling the cops. And they're like, all right, see you later.
Right.
That's it.
I
They
used
can't
to-
do
I used
anything.
to. I went through a shoplifting phase when I was like 22, and I I got really into going to the Gelson's in Tarzana, and I would walk in, and I would go to the little cookie area, like the cookies and treats, right? And I'd like buy an iced tea, so I bought something. And then I'd go and get like baguettes and sushi and butternut squash soup, and I'd put it in the bag, and I'd come sit with these like old war veterans that used to hang out at the Gelson's in Tarzana at lunch. Yeah. And
That's
I don't know, I was getting off on something, like making up stories like that. I told them my name was something else, and like I would sit there and eat. And
my name is Jean-Claude.
Yeah, I was just like lost in the valley and needed something in my day to do that. And one time they brought, and I did it for like a couple weeks, and it became like a thing. And then Gelson's got an undercover guy. Uh-oh. And I was sitting there eating my sushi, and cops rolled up on me and arrested me in front of my war veteran friends who were like, they picked me up and they're like, what did young Dylan do? It was like,
he served this country.
It was because I stole over $30 worth of stuff, so it was an arrestable offense. And they like hauled me away to the Van Nuys jail, which is like one of the worst.
Oh no!
It was awful. And I was in the cop car, and I was being a little dick. That the cop was like, "So why did you do this?" I was like, "Well, I thought it'd be interesting to, I'm writing something right now where somebody gets arrested, and it'd be interesting for
just
me."
playing that cop angle, like the cop's gonna fucking love it.
Right.
Oh, I got a Hollywood guy in the back seat.
Oh,
I
boy.
love those. That's why I became a cop.
he drops me off at Van Nuys jail, and immediately I understood what the repercussions. Like I thought, they didn't tell me I was going to jail. I thought I was going to get like booked at the thing, and they'd write me a thing. And he drops me off at the jail, and the last thing, I turn back to him, and he's like, "Good luck with that little research project there, buddy." And like, he does a finger gun.
Shot
and
you?
slams me.
Oh.
Yeah. Right in the leg, and I go down and pull a tourniquet together. Yeah. But it was there. They dropped me off on a Friday, so I'm in there, and the lady at the thing is, she's like, "So what, and I'm like, "How long am I gonna be here?" She was like, "Well, it's Friday at the end of the day, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday's Martin Luther King Day, so like, I think, around like probably Tuesday, Wednesday." And I think I started crying, and then they somehow got me out.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What in the privilege?
Here's exactly.
I mean, we now gotta just say it.
Here's exactly what the lady said to me. She walked by me. I was standing. They blast just TV in there, like sports and shit, which for my little queer heart was like, no. And the lady walked by. She was like, "You don't look like you belong here." And she's like, "What's your deal?" I was like, "I stole a baguette with a butternut squash soup with a lovely hint of lemon fresh, and I don't know why I'm here." And they let me out. And I stole the jail pants, and that was the last thing I ever stole.
Hey! Now
my mom's a drug dealer. I want to bookend that with my mom does not want people to know that she was doing. It was like
nobody tell Gabe's mom, okay?
I'm trying to make
no
that
one find
like,
Gabe's mom.
Okay, it's like it's fucking like Marin County. Like I don't think there could be anything wrong. Like everybody's growing it. All right, I'm okay.
Marin County's like
I used to go into a soup plantation. Have you guys ever
Sonoma
been to a
County.
soup plantation? Yeah.
I love
Get on
soup
stage. No, she had supermarket sweep energy about soup plantation.
I bring them up.
Yeah, come on, Upper. Come on, no, get out. Yeah, all right. This is the exuberant hour. Hello, what's your name?
Oh, God, it's Nova.
Nova's back, everybody.
Soup Plantation got Nova up.
I love soup plantation.
All right.
When you go into a soup plantation, if you're not hip to the jive, you walk in, it starts with a salad bar. Then at the end of that salad bar, you bring your tray and your plate up to a cash register, and then beyond the cash register after you've paid, it's buffets.
Hot items.
It's hot stuff and cookies and brownies and soups and all, plantations and yes, you can grow some cotton. And,
I didn't know that you can go back to get more salad after you've sat down and stuff.
Yeah,
you can
it's
go back to the
awkward.
salad
You
bar.
have
I
your
didn't know
receipt
that
and
for a
whatnot.
while.
So I was broke. I was in college. I was still in my shoplifting, stealing days. And I went to USC and stole just everything and from the commissary there. What do you call it? The place with the food.
Cafeteria?
And what I would do is I'd walk in without a plate. I would walk past the cash register, and so I didn't have a plate. And I would just say, I just kind of look like I just kind of do like a point, like I'm meeting a friend or whatever. Like I'm not eating. I'm just coming in to sit with a pal or whatever. and they didn't. If you didn't have the iconic tray with the salad on it, they didn't care about you. So I would just go in there and I would find a table that somebody had left, and there were still plates on, and I would just sit there and read. And then after 5 minutes, I looked like the guy, and they come over and they clear the thing, and they go, "Hey, was that iced tea?" I go, "Yeah, but I've had enough iced tea. Let's get some water." And they go, "Okay, yeah, just get a new plate. I'll clear these for you."
You slowly merge into the endless cycle that is the soup plantation lifestyle.
Yeah. And so then I would go up there and eat like crazy, and then I would get. They go, do you want anything to go? We just made a fresh batch of pizzas. I'm like, yeah, and then they'd wrap up pizza in foil. So I would go there 2-3 times a week, and I kept doing it. And once you get past the cash register, all the servers and bus people and the people that are serving the food and whatnot, they don't care. They assumed that you paid because you wouldn't be able to be there. I went there so often, they knew my name. And they would they'd go, "Hey Jeff, what's up, man? We just made a batch of brownies, but we already wrapped them up for you."
It's like a fucking Tom Hanks movie from the early thousands.
I social engineered soup plantation.
Like you're just stuck there because you don't have a green card. But
I actually
you helped deliver a baby at one point.
I stopped going because I felt bad because they liked me there. I didn't want them to be friends.
Yeah, it ends with the CIA's got soup plantations surrounded, but then every waiter gives you the punches your soup card.
The only time I got caught stealing, and I stole a lot, was at a supermarket. I was at a Ralph's, and we were going to the beach, and I stole a $2 thing of a little pack of salami and cheese, and I just did a little turn around and tuck it in my shorts like I always did, and a hand grabs me, and it's just a dude that was shopping there, and he goes, "I saw you do that," and he drags me. He gets he doesn't grab me by the arm yet. He goes and comes with the manager at me, and I'm apprehended, and they go, "We saw you steal that." I'm like, "What?" And they drag me off to the back room to the office. And I'm just in shorts and a t-shirt and sandals or whatever. We're all going to the beach. I believe I had dreadlocks at this time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I was fucking awesome.
Cactus bunch.
No, is that a real thing? Did you have dreadlocks?
Oh
yeah.
I want to play you in a show. That sounds hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. So I was a good kid. I got good grades. So I'm sitting in the manager's office, and the cop he's an off-duty cop. The guy. I thought he was just some vigilante guy. He's an off-duty Whittier PD officer, and he is fucking furious. It's Saturday afternoon, and he's got nothing to do except harangue me. And he's like, "You're going down to the fucking station, buddy. Like I saw you do that." And I'm sitting there, I got a cop yelling at me, and the manager is like, "Okay, yeah, we got to do something about this." And there's the little thing of $2 salami and cheese on the desk, and I'm like, "Fuck." And the guy's yelling at me, and I said, we're going to arrest you for this." And I said, here's the thing, officer. Fuckface. I didn't say that. I said I didn't leave the store. There's no crime has been committed.
You're allowed to put salami in your pocket, theoretically.
I'm not aware of a law in the book that says I can't put your salami and cheese down my shorts. I said it's gross, and I shouldn't do that just to be a nice person. But I said I haven't. If you waited until I'd walked out with it, then you have a thing. And he goes, and he goes, "Show me your ID." And he goes, "How much money do you have on you?" I said, "I don't have any money." He goes, "Well, then that's burglary. You came in without the intent to pay. And you put it in your face."
Whoa.
I said, "No, I didn't commit a crime. I haven't left the store."
Wow.
That was a weird that burglary thing was hummingbird-like in its beak shape. It was like, did they improvise that? Or?
I knew a lot of the shoplifting kind of rules.
No, but that was their counter, right? They said, "You don't have any money."
Yeah.
And so you're burglarizing.
I said, if you want to arrest me, and since you're off duty, it's a Saturday afternoon, and I don't think you're going to get any of your buddies to come down here and pick a 17-year-old up for $2 of salami and cheese in his shorts. I said, get him on the phone and see if you can get someone down here right now. And the guy's like, "Whoa!" We were there for a long time, and so he goes, "My friends are waiting in the parking lot. I have no idea what's going on." And he goes, "Well, we got to call your dad then. We got to call your parents. Let's call your mom." I said, "My mom passed away."
Oh.
Oh yeah, no, it was a fucking street fight at this point, and
He's gonna.
Yeah.
If look, you punched him into a trash can. It has a lid. They work like frisbees. His hands are tied.
Yeah. So I guess we'll call you dad. Then my dad was at work, and my dad would not have been fucking happy about this, obviously.
That
And-
was their counter. Then we'll call your dad.
Yeah, I said my dad's at work. He goes, where does he work? And I said, I told him the name of. No, I didn't tell him the name of the place. I said, he goes, what's the phone number? And I made up a phone number. And just pray to God. This is back in the days like where not everybody had an answering machine and not everybody had, there was no cell phones and shit.
Phones weren't people.
Yeah, exactly.
They were devices that were left at home.
Yeah.
And if you
And,
went out for a haircut, you might miss a job.
Yeah. And so they called the number. Thank God nobody answers. And they goes, we got to release you to somebody. I said, well, you could call my brother, but I'm not giving you his number. And they're like, why?
Because he's Dracula.
I said, yeah.
And you're like, I could have done that at any time, but
I said, no, my brother fucking he will beat the shit out of me in front of you. Like, I said, my brother will kick the ever-loving shit out of me. I'm not. They take me to fucking jail, then I'm not doing that. And he's like, no. And the cop fucking fell for it. My brother and I love each other. He's like, oh, give us a number. And so we called it. Bill was at home, and he goes, we got your brother here. He got caught stealing at the Ralph's on Beach Boulevard. And so my brother comes in, and he's a little miffed that it was Saturday, and he had his own stuff to do. And he comes in, and he sees me sitting there in my shorts, and there's a little thing of salami and cheese on the desk, and he goes,
Is that what I think it is?
He takes the whole tableau and I get up and I go, hey man, and he goes, you fucking asshole, and we just fucking laugh and we hug and we walk. And I go, bye guys.
Nice.
Shit.
You were 17. Did you say? I thought I heard you were 17.
16 or 17.
Okay, so let's make it 16. You're a hero.
I was 20
like, if you're 23,
I was 23. All I thought to tell him was I was a writer, kind of.
I stopped stealing when I was 18.
I
when I
didn't
turned 18.
I didn't know a 17-year-old could muster a dreadlock. How do you lock them?
I was always I was a bodyboarder, and so the salt water and the sand gets in your hair, and your hair just gets natty, and like it just starts getting knotted.
Is there
Right,
any
right.
cultivation at all to it, or is it simply the process of?
I have nervous
there is.
energy, so I twist my hair when it gets long, and so that just kind of compounded. I posted a photo of my senior year ID, and I have kind of shitty dreadlocks on my face.
I almost had dreadlocks from like not washing it when I was in the Dominican Republic when
Oh,
I
yeah?
was like a kid. Yeah.
You got very thick hair.
Yeah, it's really thick and it was long, so it started dreading up, and my mom was really mad.
Yeah.
She had to comb it all
But then it
out.
starts
All right.
smelling. Yeah.
We're doing Game of Thrones predictions, and everyone's making one.
Oh shit.
I got to get it on the record in case I'm right. It's worth it. If I'm wrong, who cares? But like, I just keep going. Like, come on.
I'm so convinced in all of my predictions that I don't want to give any of them because they're spoilers.
It seems like everybody feels like there's absolutely no way Lord Tarly on the throne. I'm like, you mean the fat writer character that just has everything go his way because his dad was wrong when he said you should be less fat and you should like writing less. You don't think have you noticed that fucking foot pedal jamming during the fucking jazz club? I was like, by the way, there's a fat writer and he gets fucking everything he wants.
And he's always right.
I think the finale of Game of Thrones is gonna be Lord Tarly like fucking mushing his ass like around like making it, and he's gonna like look at the camera and be like, what? I told you. Like fucking happy birthday, you fucking bullies.
Yeah, but the Game of Thrones is going to be put back in the new library. What do they call that?
The new library.
Citadel?
Is it the Citadel?
Yeah,
The Citadel of
Yeah.
Knowledge?
He's going to have an office at the Citadel with the throne, the sword throne. Up in
Yeah,
there.
I mean that was my only prediction. It's one of those things where if people are like, "Oh, he'd never do that." Like, but if he, and also I guess he's different from the Game of Thrones writers too, because the last two seasons are them just
Going
taking it and
nuts.
making their own show, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, thanks for addressing Game of Thrones in your last episode. I haven't been able to find a podcast that wanted to talk about Game of Thrones. Also, social media has been a real Game of Thrones info desert. it's great that someone who hasn't watched any episodes this season could create an oasis for me to quench my thirst.
It's good.
Sincerely, Game of Thrones
We like
fan
it.
69. I haven't seen it.
I would guess Hand of the King for him.
Oh yeah,
That's my
he'll be-
guess.
Isn't it all just though going to be a very? You know, it's all the first two were happy, right? I mean, pretty much.
The first two?
These first two was
episodes?
like catch-ups. And
These first two episodes, they were like television to me.
The last one was pretty gloomy. Everybody was like getting ready to die.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they were all
spoilers.
fucking, and they were, and she got the thing, and people were posting things of like
One of-
crying, like she's a knight.
One
you
of the
know?
Rick and Morty writers pointed out that, because I haven't seen the episodes, but that they're getting together and they're telling a lot of stories and gathering, and
Yeah.
and like the overall message is like, listen, when this much shit happens, like you got to look back and just be like, God damn, no matter how it turns out, fuck, this was amazing. You
What a-
can't fucking get swept up in whatever happens next. You got to fucking also remember we moved the needle, bitch.
It was a real wild ride, baby.
Because I like someone does a monologue about storytelling. I think it's Fat Writer, isn't it? It was like stories.
Yeah,
you know
he-
that's the fucking thing.
Like history.
That was
yeah.
pretty high. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I definitely remember the thinking like, wow, this girl was like 7 when we met her, and now she's doing this. That was weird. 14.
Same thing.
You clocked it, huh?
He's like 4 more years.
Up on the dial, another
A
one.
fictional countdown clock. It's so much more perverse. The fanfic countdown clock. I can't wait till the 3rd Dragon Age when she has acquired the spellcasting mana to control that stormtrooper.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, you're not caught up?
I'm not caught up this season. I haven't watched
This season.
I haven't watched these 2 episodes.
No, okay. Well, I mean, you wanted to venture into this conversation even?
I just
He wanted to
wanted
say
my
his
Charlie
thing.
theory out there just in case, because I'm just like I feel like there's a 5% chance I'm fucking nailing it. It's
He's definitely going to be good. Like, well, he's going to be like winning whatever he's doing because it's like, yeah, he's like the author's insert character.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be king, and then
Yeah,
he's gonna
see.
he's gonna sit, and then he's gonna like
Eat. It's
put
a-
his thumb in his mouth, halfway in his
You
mouth.
know, I
and
think
he's
you
gonna
do.
be like,
I think you make it Bran and you put wheels on the throne.
Whoa.
He's sitting down anyway.
Big wheels made out of
Danielle?
swords.
It's Danielle, right?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones fan
Oh, yeah.
at all? Predictions? Anything? Get
Like-
anything
Are you
off
from
your
the
chest.
mid-
You haven't had a chance to talk about Game of Thrones on this show for 6
All
years.
right.
So anything you want to say?
The Starks are just gonna rule all.
Okay.
The Starks.
There you go.
I don't, that's not my prediction, but I like it.
All right.
No, I can't. I really think that it's
Let's-
spoiling.
you wanna go
So far,
right now?
yeah, let's fight.
You want to go?
I love attacking people.
Well, wait,
Look up my biography.
What's your concern with giving us your prediction? Like,
Well, I truly think a lot of them are right. Like, and so it acts as
tell
spoilers.
us, like, it'll be like a betting pool. We'll get like brackets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I don't know. I mean, me and my roommate. Actually, I'm taking my roommate's credit, Callie. But you know, she and me worked a lot of this out, and we definitely called Gendry before the season started.
Called
And-
what?
Called Gendry and Arya and stuff, and then that happened, and it was great. And also, all the other predictions, they're starting to get seeded in these 2 episodes. And I was like, yeah, they're seeding these exact
getting
things we
All
all
right, well,
called.
then tell us your prediction.
Which
kind
ones?
of-
Well, who's on the throne at the end?
Tyrion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to go.
Seems
Yeah.
a little on the nose.
It is on the nose.
I'd
It's
rather
not.
it
I
be
mean,
the Fat Writer.
that's the thing. But that's when you look at all the signs,
the Fat Ri-
everything's broadcast so clearly, and it's almost too obvious. And
Fat,
so,
Fat Rider will be the hand, probably.
right? That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there's one.
At the end, Jon Snow knows something.
Aw, I miss her.
Yeah. They're
great.
married in real life, apparently.
Aw.
It's awesome. That's like
Yay.
better.
Wow. What a different podcast we're capable of.
I missed. I missed the dire wolf. They had one shot in this last episode of the wolf kind of peeking his nose into frame.
Yeah.
I was like, get these motherfuckers back in action.
Yeah, that was a cheapo. That was a cheapo way of having him. Yeah.
Well, with that last episode was like a clip. It was just like a big reunion show where everybody comes out. It's like
I thought the dragons looked really cheap. Was that like a big thing on the internet? I thought the first
People
dragon
hate
flight,
CG.
the Fern Gully Last Rainforest sequence was I don't know. It just looked really flat. Maybe they rushed it or something.
I thought it was a
that.
bit much when like they start fucking and the dragon's like giving a thumbs up. I think I made that joke last week.
Oh yeah, you did.
I didn't know if that was a joke or not.
It's
just-
both. It really happened. And
What
it's
are we
funny.
gonna be into next? Now that Game of Thrones is ending, and no disrespect, but at some point Marvel has to collapse. Like as a genre, are we gonna get into film noir? Are we gonna just go into a 10-year period of stories about alcoholics that solve mysteries and shouldn't like be problematic with the girl that comes in the door, because we're just like anything super and I'm out.
I think the future is definitely multi-character mockumentary shows on streaming services. Like if they're, taking on popular subcultures that, ignite conversation amongst people.
But all
maybe.
these apps I have to install, they're too many to remember.
No, it's easy and free. Just
also,
one click gets you.
It's channel 420. It's an easy channel to remember because it's Hitler's birthday.
Right. Channel 420.
No, Jeff, it's Columbine.
Oh, Jesus.
Channel 420. Does that?
really?
All right.
You're really
Wow.
insensitive.
Wow.
Speaking of which,
What a comedic plug for the show. That was great.
Asperger detective Ryan Krause just did his Columbine episode on his. He did it on 420, and it was what was it, a
That's the
5-hour
anniversary.
episode?
Yeah, I haven't listened, but
Spencer's been in touch with him. You
yeah.
DM'd with him on Twitter. He slid into your DMs.
he slid into my DMs.
Was he thirsty?
He was
for your thirsty
AF.
pics?
Yeah, I was sending him some dick pics.
Did you slide into his thirsty fams?
I slided it into his thirsty fams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you have some interesting things to report. One is that he's not offended by the way we've been speaking
right.
about him.
Or at least he said that.
that was a
He's
relief.
being nice. Yeah, he seemed really into it. He said he's got. Well, no, I don't want to tell his secrets, but he seems like a cool guy. I don't
He's
know.
going to come on the show, right?
He's going to come on the show.
Sweet.
We'll talk to him. Man, whoa. I've been going through personal growth thanks to him. He has a lot of things about redirection of light. It's mind-blowing. I want to make a supercut of all the things he said that blew my mind because it's really life-changing for me.
Spence, how many days into your anti-pot? I didn't mean that to be
Crusade?
Yeah, or just like ridding yourself of that. And,
I smoked on 420, but before that it had been a week off, and before that it had been almost a week off.
almost a week off.
Yeah, so I'm pretty low for the past 2 weeks in terms of weed. I'm having dreams again. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I had a dream where like there was a demon girl possessing me, and we were like arguing over who got to use my arms.
See, that's a good dream.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I have trippy dreams.
I had a dream that I had to make. I went to this awesome party, and it was like a big like after party of some big rock concert, and for some reason I had to make 100 people breakfast.
Whoa.
It was this big stress dream. I'm like, I had fucking 100 people make. How do you time it out? How do you time out the eggs? It's a one kitchen. I only got 4 burners.
Wait, on dreams. Wait, I just have to say, Dan, I actually have had the dream that I've been on Harmontown, and you used it as the opportunity to like. This was my bad dream to like tell me what you really think.
Oh.
That was no dream.
I swear to God, I've had it a couple times because I thought maybe one day I'd be able to come on here and promote Dope State.
But before I did that, how was I doing in the show? Was
Yeah, I know you were killing it, which made the stakes
all right.
even
Thank
higher.
God.
You know, I
I
got
stopped killing it?
I say we make Gabe's dream come true. Dan,
Yeah, what do you think?
How do you really feel about Gabe?
Well, first
Sunday?
I have to kill it.
Okay, kill
That's
it.
why I asked.
You've been
Because
killing
I was
it.
like, I don't know what that
People been laughing, man. This is a good show.
Lumpkins, is that you?
Hey guys.
I was gonna move on to child rearing. That was my last topic for tonight. A Rick and Morty writer has an 11-year-old nephew who just got an iPhone for his birthday, and his parents check the iPhone. I think they check it every night, I think is the rule or something. So it's like, and it's divorced parents, and there's like, I don't want to, that I think is too private because like, I don't want to question like motivations of who got who's. What am I doing?
It's good.
He's got an 11-year-old nephew that got an iPhone, and if that sounds weird to you or normal to you is anyone's guess, because we don't have rules for these days. Like we don't have any fucking old standards, and so 11-year-old kid's got an iPhone, and then the Rick and Morty writer, who's his uncle, is getting all these texts from the 11-year-old kid. He just got his first phone. Like, I mean, I was an idiot on Friendster when I was 25 because I was like, what? Other people named Dan? We should form a club. To be 11 and all of a sudden be able to do what fucking big people do, which is stare at the fucking thing, and like I guess I don't have to make a case that the kid deserves a break. He's a kid, but it's just because I remember being his uncle, and his uncle's like, and then at like 6 a.m. I get this text. It's like, sup.
Whoa.
It's so funny. Like it's like, and he wrote this response about
About what was
boundaries
sup?
and stuff. Ultimately, like, and I was like, why wasn't not returning his text an option? And he was like, well, I mean, the long and short of it was like, he's like, well, I don't want to turn dishonest because now there's technology that makes it possible to connect with each other. I just can't have like. I don't want the technology to turn me into a liar. It's kind of what it is like saying maybe I'm not always stoked to have my nephew like ask me a question at 7:30 or whatever. It's so you guys, how will you raise your children in this new era of nanotrons and microwoms?
I do feel like it fucks with your brain. Like, I don't think I would actually stop my kid from using a smartphone or like put an age limit on it, but I would be pretty uncomfortable with the idea of like having that, like that attention kind of thing. I feel very addicted to my phone, and I don't like it.
Like, do you think that kids? Here's just a specifying of the question, if you will. Like, do you think that kids? What if you're raising a kid who like kid age, and it's like. It's sort of like our parents, my parents, is like, oh, let's go to the malt shop because and they're like, where are you going? You're going to the malt shop. All of that idea of control over the development of your children, like how much freedom and how much power they have. And you're hearing these stories, you hear these like urban legends, but actual stories of like. She talked her friend into suicide because they were talking every day in the text. Like, where are we at with like this idea of like your kid, like as a guy who has no kids and who was terrified of the idea, like
it's an addiction to. One of the first things I ever did was a movie about suicide, and I spent a bunch of time in the suicide prevention community and talking about like the young brain, and it's like this addiction to immediate gratification, right? It's like and that's why the suicide rates are going up amongst younger people, because there's this this addiction to like, you know, if I want to solve a problem, I can solve it like right now. If I want to contact somebody or tell somebody something or buy something, like I can get it right now. But if I like get kicked out of my house for being gay, or I break up with my boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, you know, you want that immediate gratification. And I think that's like that Pavlovian dog response that we've gotten of like, you know, of being able to
Wikipedia or whatever. Yeah,
just immediately. Plus, we're getting inundated with so much imagery. Like the average, one of the statistics that always blows my mind is the average age to see hardcore pornography these days is seven years old. Like that's when it was 9, like 10 years ago or whatever.
The average age of looking.
How
at
could
porn?
we let that Venice sink?
The average age of
We
seeing,
were once a proud lot.
2008.
9 years old. The golden era.
I'm confused, Gabe. The average age of doing what?
The average age of
seeing
seeing
your first-
hardcore porn for the first time is 7.
Oh, the first I got you.
So it's just like you add that with the gratification, with the immediate gratification thing, with all of that combined. Yeah, I think it like I don't want kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all like look at the fact that like, oh, it's a crazy jungle, and I just like what I'm curious about is like what you talk to any parent, and it's always a different adventure. Like they have to make their own rules on a level that I don't think any previous generation of parent has ever. Well, probably
Your kids can
fucking pioneer times when you have like a saber-toothed tiger and you have to like it's like you can't just go, oh, I'll do what every family does. No, you get a fucking unique situation. There's piranha there and there's a dinosaur there. I don't know anything about history or
yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I got really scared of technology and everything. But but I realized that I was really, I think I was really addicted to, I went on Tumblr every single day, and I quit going on Tumblr. I didn't delete my account or anything, because like I'll go back, but it's been like 3 or 4 days since I went on it at all. And I quit because I realized I wasn't having any, like I spent a lot of alone time and I spent a lot of time in my head, and I realized that instead of going to my own brain for things, I was going to Tumblr for things. Like instead of going to my own self for thinking of funny things or whatever, or like a comment on something, I'd be like, what did people on Tumblr say or do about this thing or something?
Yeah.
Like if I got into a TV show, instead of just having all these thoughts myself, I'd like search the tag on Tumblr. What did everyone else say?
I mean, that's so much less shameful than I think. I recognize that about Twitter, and kept right on chugging. Like I didn't even like notice that and been like, oh, that's bad. I was like, I think in tweets now. Like, I was like, that's how it goes.
Well, it was really affecting me, because also people, I think in general, but especially online and then especially on Tumblr, people talk very negatively, and I really internalized that and stuff. Like I got a job and then I got really sad about it, because everyone talks about like, oh, I have to go to work and stuff. I have to get up in the morning. I'm so sad. But I was really happy about my job, but I feel like I have like other people's thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the daily grind. I have what they say about work in my head.
It could be siblings of yours without even signing up for the job. I think that each individual of them, of course, you would probably predict along with me that if they would be like, no, I'm so stoked for you and all this stuff, and it would be like an outpouring of love. But it was like the idea of, it's like it's interesting.
Well, yeah, I got real friends like in real life, and then they're very positive about everything, and stuff. I haven't had friends in a while.
But there are ways to we should be proud of the fact that as like primates, we are super geared towards like picking up on what I would do in this particular context to achieve praise, to feel valuable, to like all these things that we like to regard as like, oh, here are the empirical human experiences, as if there's anything empirical about a fucking monkey that thinks it's half God and is spinning from sentience and like running across the earth, going maybe if I had an alphabet, like it's psychosis. So like there's nothing empirical about what we go through, like except for the fact that we are that moving planchette on the Ouija board of God's abuse. All right, I went a little too far.
Too true.
You can't use abuse as a metaphor for a Ouija board. That's dumb. And also, why start with the technical French term for the pointer thing on a Ouija board? What are you, a guy who watched 1987's Witchboard?
This is exactly what you said in my dream, Dan. This is amazing. There's a word for word.
Gabe, I'm doing a show.
Oh,
Everyone's
shit.
doing a show. And you come on here and you think you can be that and do this and that nothing will happen. Everything's going to happen. And everything is nothing. And the difference is a poor man's Jew's harp playing in the darkness in a jug band on a hee-haw that's been canceled because you're out of the demo.
I'm out of the demo. I'm in the demo, man. I'm the main demo.
Will you confide me? Because I'm high. This is where I get uncharismatically high. But like I
was trying to riff with you.
When
You're getting more high?
When you
You're supposed to get less high as the time passes.
did you panic a little bit when you were like telling the story about how you like literally you were like at jail and you were like, come on, like someone's gonna talk to me about this, and I like made the joke of like that's fucking privilege, and then like right after that the word queer came. You're like, but also I'm fucking gay, by the way. And did you like play at the time when the when that event
Did I
happened?
scream I'm gay?
Well,
in
no,
jail?
but when you did your impression of it, where you were like, I don't know what to do, and like that, and you also said the word queer, and I'm curious, like, were you projecting the image for that person of like, I can't spend fucking Martin Luther King weekend in prison, like in jail, and like translate it into kind of like sexuality terms a little bit, even more so than.
No. He's shaking his head no.
I mean, I channel everything into sexual terms, but I don't know if I don't know. This is. I don't know what you're asking.
Like
He's
like,
talking about the moment when what was the climax of
I
that?
think when
Please.
when telling the story, and then he said the word privilege, where you panicked into wanting to seem like more of just a straight white young man who got out of jail for free, like.
Oh, did I want to lessen
Well, like,
the blow of
I'm
that
also gay.
comment?
Like, I'm also gay.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. You're asking why, if that's the reason why I said that?
Well, I guess that was a layer of it, but then I was also curious in the meantime because I was like, well, you also don't have to. We don't have to talk about that, but also going back to that part of the story, I was also curious if that was.
Wait, are you asking if what you really wanted to do was call me a faggot just now when you were putting me in my place and
Whoa,
calling
that's
me
not
out?
cool, Dan.
Oh damn!
Is that
Too
what you're
far,
getting at?
bro.
Whoa.
You're out of the demo.
New world,
you little
Dan.
like were you
This
gonna like
isn't
just
that kind of
'cause
show,
you-
man?
Oh, that was not connected. No.
all right. Because that might.
I was thinking about age. I was like, because I was projecting myself. When I think demo, I was like, you're too old, but you're not too old. That's what that was. I was not connecting. I did leap from, you're out of the demo. Hey, can I ask gay questions? That is the court that I follow.
That's, by the way, the main center of conversation at Starbird's Industries. Most of the time is like, we'll start off in one bit of conversation and then they'll get it because I identify as queer because I'm bisexual. So I'm into both, and it will always, no matter what. It's like the doweling thing or whatever, looking for water.
Dowsing.
It's like there will be like a conversation about like, is Nerf still putting out products? And then it'll be like, well, that's interesting because, with dicks and vaginas, there's like, like it always will lead back to that path.
Same.
So, yeah.
Same.
So
Oh my God,
in your
yeah.
very Harmon way, it was perfect because I didn't understand anything you were really saying. It was completely over my head, but then it got back to dicks. So you want to talk about dicks?
We started with balls.
Wait. You once said in a bar that you find bisexuality to be the most highly evolved of the species, and I can't tell you.
How dare you?
I can't.
Don't tell my millennial audience. It was a brief lapse of closed-mindedness.
Someone said that to me about like non-binary people. Like, well, that's like
I don't
the
say it to
evolution.
everyone. I think some people aren't to the next stage of evolution. But loss prevention, I think, is
That's
very
cool.
important.
Yeah, you ever fired someone for being gay?
Shrinkage.
No.
Shrink.
I do think. Oh,
My-
sorry.
What if she's like, yeah, I'm a huge homophobe. I
No.
donate a lot.
So my whole life, I grew up with all boys. I have 3 brothers and a dad, and I always thought guys tuck their penis up when they put their pants on.
Yeah, like
Because
where
Can you
does
answer
it go?
this question?
Some do.
Because
Left or right?
because you were like,
Right.
here's how a person
'Cause
looks
it's
with
so
their pants
big?
down and like.
I don't know. I just always thought that guys just tuck their penis up when they put their pants
You see,
on.
tuck it up. Tuck it up where?
Like into your
No,
waistband.
No, just so it's not to the left or right.
I
so
always
it could
thought
just go in the
for
middle
some
and be
reason
up.
that you
know?
would like sit on it or close your legs on it, so you always tucked it up.
Some people do.
And-
Right.
Was this based on you seeing one of
Yeah.
your brothers do this at some point?
And is the conversation like, did you steal that DVD of Demolition Man? Also, do you like?
Do you tuck your penis up?
Yeah. Does that have something you would not tuck?
That's actually the first question I
tuck
ask.
your penis and get
in
out
my
of here.
interviews with guys, I'm like, where do you put your penis? I need
That's
to
So it
know.
has to
good.
go to the left or right, right? I don't think
And
I
that's
could deal
not
with
a
the
fireable
asymmetry.
offense.
All I had was Game of Thrones. I think it's.
You can say faggot if you want to, Dan. You can lean right
Dan,
into it.
say
That's
faggot.
Where does it go?
Say it, Dan.
Where
mean-
does it go? I need to know.
If there are 2 different ways, it's not like you're gonna be like faggot. You're gonna be like faggot. You say it like you lean into the sassy side of it, and you can get away with that.
You have 2 queer people giving you
Right,
permission to
Jeff?
say the word faggot.
Yeah, all the way.
That
You
word used to
fucking
be a
faggot.
flathead screwdriver. Like that was like that one really went. Bring it back.
Maybe not.
Some people are.
Yeah, where's Dino Stamatopoulos? Let's give him a ring.
He's in Europe.
I was thinking the other day about how on Twitter, while a showrunner of Community technically, but it wasn't like it's like the internet was different. I was a fucking showrunner of an NBC sitcom, but it still it was like I've told this story before where my brother tweeted that he was like proud of his daughter or something like that, and I responded as just like fag, and it was like
this.
I am not fucking telling you that at the time that was funny. There was no point in explaining that. It was like for me as an individual, evident by that behavior, I was in a space where I thought that was absolutely fine. And like I remember getting kind of like a bunch of people going like, did you just call that man a fag for loving his daughter? And being kind of like, yeah, well, it wasn't even about outrage or oppressing anyone. I was like, oh, when you put it that way, even if we were on a desert island, I'm a bad brother. That was a dumb. Why did I think that's funny? And but not to mention the fact that then people are like, it was like. But I was just the reason I bring up the story is because I remember I'm like doing something around my house and kind of daydreaming about the internet and how it was different 10 years ago. It's just such a weird thing because the internet's supposed to be the thing that's different about any years ago. And now, and then thinking back as an old man and going, I remember when I didn't get fired for calling my brother a fag for loving his daughter. In front of everyone. And a couple people yelled at me, and I said, listen, I didn't mean to call my brother a fag. And the fags talked it out with me, and they told me about a charity, and I donated to it, and that's why I'm woke. That's my story. So I don't know where this deposition is going. What do you mean, where are the monsters? They're not here. I took a road called I'm Not a Monster every day to here. How could I be a monster? Did you know the How to Not Be a Monster guide leads you to monstrosity? In the future, all you have to do is not think about anything for 30 years and you'll end up doing everything wrong. It's not fair. My name is Kane Mutiner.
Whoa.
That's
a cool name.
Why did you improvise? Dumb. Fucking dumb.
I liked it.
Danielle, what do you think of the podcast? You think it's stupid, don't you?
I
if
love
you
it.
Human resource my podcast, fire the person that needs to be
stealing
fired.
your time.
I can't. So technically, I have no power over firing.
Make the podcast better with one firing.
Oh.
Hint, hint. It's the fucking guy that
Who do
ruins everything.
Okay, who do you want? So I
Fire.
just like, who do you want me to fire?
Obviously.
We could have Nova fire somebody, and then Danielle could sit there
I'll sit there.
as HR
And
and make
I will
sure
just
that.
yes
Right.
or no.
Nova,
Yeah.
Nova could.
I like this idea.
You could lodge a formal complaint about.
No,
Yeah, do you wanna-
wait, you're store manager.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Okay, yeah. Here we go. You tell me what
You
to
got to
do.
fire one of us
All
off
right.
Harmontown.
The one who ruins it.
I'll
No,
just
Nova
yes,
didn't
yeah.
sign up for any of this.
But she seems kind of excited about it. No?
Should we?
A little bit? Uh-oh. Powwow. Secrets don't make friends.
Okay.
That's good. There's a little planning.
Okay, I'm getting scared now because this is
So you have to call him.
this is getting legit.
Office.
Because there would be all these inter-office emails going on. That's what
this is, yeah.
represents right now.
They don't
gotta
whisper
check-
on whose line is it anyway. You can't get all the preconceived facts.
Do you guys have any idea how much thousands of dollars? Okay, go ahead. I was going to say, do you have any
All
idea
right.
how many thousands of dollars of things I've bought on Amazon? Go. In a new segment called Dan Makes Himself More Relatable.
Wait,
That is
Turns
way
into
too
Oh, wait.
more
relatable.
of the coyote.
are you saying you're gonna buy us stuff?
Yeah.
Because that might change
by
our
you
minds.
guys?
Yeah.
Bribe?
Oh, wait.
Are you buying
oh,
us stuff?
Do you want a ghillie
Bribe to
suit?
not get fired?
I
Oh
like
no,
this.
I will.
All of our audience,
I will give-
all of our audience guests get $1,000 gifts from Amazon from Dan. Harmon.
Wait, what?
Everyone that came up here tonight
Everybody get up
gets a random assortment of mismatched USB-C audio interfaces.
No. All right.
And fucking random AC adapters and all manner of every USB cable classification, of which there are 47. You can. I'll bring it all next week. And divvy it between you two. Yeah, one of you is gonna have like a thing that looks like a guitar, but kind of.
When I turn 21, you can buy me a Kettle One.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Something
Shoot higher.
expensive then.
What did I interrupt?
Pumpkin liqueur.
There was show happening.
Firing.
Mr. Harmon,
Right.
can you come to the office, please?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll finish pricing these lettuce heads.
You just gotta lay into him. I'm here to back you up. That's how it is. I'm your backup.
Should I be hard? Or should
Oh, you be
I-
hard. You give it to him.
Mr. Harmon, Dan, can I call you Dan?
You can call me anything you want, just not late for dinner.
Do you do you have any brothers or sisters, Dan? What are you doing for the holiday weekend? How are you doing?
Whoa. I don't know. I usually just hang out at home, but I never thought.
Okay,
I'd have to
Dan.
tell-
So the thing is that we've been a little light on some of the stock this week. Have you been into the bath section of the supermarket?
Bath
aisle
section?
7.
Bath.
Aisle 7, shampoos and razors and things. Have you? Do you usually stock that aisle? Don't you?
Yeah.
Well, we've been a little bit light on some of the Dove shampoo. It was missing, actually, and we couldn't account for it. And we know it was you, Dan. We know you stole 2 cases of Dove shampoo and conditioner. The peach-scented women's Dove shampoo.
I know
was
my
gone.
rights. I know my rights.
I'm not. This is not a police matter, Dan.
I never walked out of the store.
One of our other employees,
You
I
could-
can't tell you who, they saw it in the trunk of your car. They saw the peach
Arrest
Dove
my
shampoo.
eye rays. Arrest the rays that come out of my eyes, because those are the only things.
There's video evidence of you.
Are you asking
leaving the
me?
store? It would just be better if you admitted it.
Are you asking me to confirm that I stole property from
Yes.
your store?
That would
Just
be,
level with it. I'm taking off the general manager hat.
Oh shit.
We're putting it in the trash even. I'm not gonna put it
It
back
would be
on.
in your best interest if you just told us the truth.
All right. Is the hat what actually makes you a general manager or
Yes.
not?
Yes, it is.
Well, who is she?
This is Danielle. This is our head of HR. She's just here to make sure that your rights
So
are
this is
not
this
being
is what-
violated.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side.
Right.
Okay, just admit you were wrong, and we will settle this.
I think this is what the kids call a fait accompli.
Whoa.
I think I was targeted for fucking one course when I rolled in here. Okay, yeah.
Targeted how, Dan?
What?
Targeted how? You came in smelling like cannabis, and we don't appreciate that here.
Oh, you buried the lead.
Well, I can't fire you for that, but we
You
have.
can't fire me for smelling like cannabis, can you?
Unless.
Unless I admit I smoked cannabis. By the way, she and I have been having an affair. That's why I know all this shit. I can't admit it. I can't admit it, though.
Shh, you weren't supposed to say that.
By the way, it's possible. So I don't know. I didn't mean to hijack the scene.
I will deny
Okay, good.
everything you say. So
All right.
You can say whatever you want.
Well,
Hi, this is Ralph. I'm the owner of this
sorry,
Ralph's
what?
department store.
Oh, sir.
Oh shit, it's
shit.
Ralph!
Oh,
And this little
no.
faggot has been
Ralph!
stealing bath salts.
Ralph, please.
This little
be
faggot
easy on
right
him.
here has
He's
been
a kid.
stealing bath salts, and I know it. You fire his ass, take him out, tuck his dick between his legs, and get him the fuck out of here.
No! No! All right.
That one.
All right,
That's
Mr.
it.
Harmon, you're fired. End of the
Okay.
week, you're done.
Oh shit.
That's how.
But you can still claim unemployment if you want, so go for it.
Wait,
How that
he can? He does get unemployment?
He can claim it. I'm going to fight it, though.
Whoa.
I will fight it.
Yeah, I do think bisexuals and non-binaries are the next stage of evolution.
Yeah.
All right, I won't fight it. You're good to go.
I
The
mean,
thing
what-
is, Nova and Danielle, what you missed, he was about to admit that he stole the soap.
No, he's good. He just.
well, I was.
What were you
I
doing with
would've
all that peach
eventually admitted
shampoo?
it.
What were you doing with all the peach shampoo?
I don't
Daniel?
even know. I mean, if I say that the devil like makes me into
Mr.
shampoo,
Harmon? Mr.
am I
Harmon?
going to get less jail or more?
Did I not
Mr.
kill
Harmon.
this scene with the like? I thought
No,
that
you
was the.
said
It was
no,
good.
Wasn't that a
Kevin,
bookend there?
It was solid.
No,
it
all
worked-
right.
We
we're
were
done
doing the porn version of improv where like we didn't know how to
going.
yes and each other. I'm here to fix the sink. No, you're not. No, I'm not. I'm cut. Like,
Sex.
Mr. Harmon, there are also several cases of pantyhose missing from our women's department.
That's where I thought it was going because I think that those
I
are
thought of it
also
too
stored
late.
in the bath aisle, right?
Can we talk, that was like a passing thing of that idea of like kids when they like like the 9 going to 7. Nova, you're incredibly young. But you're an adult, but you're not a drinking adult. That's exactly where you're at right now. Do you? And you have absolutely every right not to answer. Does anything stick out to you about your exposure to hardcore pornography? It's a tasteful podcast. God
I'll
damn
tell
it.
the story about the first time I ever saw porn.
Damn.
It was, what year did the movie Mordecai come out with Johnny Depp?
Oh, that movie's terrible.
Recently.
It
Very
was
recently.
what was it, like 2015 or 2014 or something? And I really liked that movie, and I liked the guy in it. And I looked
Johnny
up on
Depp?
Google, not looking for porn whatsoever, just Google images, just friendly, safe photos. I looked up blonde men with mustaches.
That's in my favorites.
Because I was like, more please. And
It took you to the
and
Weatherman's Union.
I saw a porn video, and I was like, all right, I guess today's the day. I gotta see porn for the first time sometime.
Wait,
and I
how
clicked on
old
it.
were you?
7.
Is that what you said?
I was probably 15 or 16, whatever year the movie Mordecai came out. So I think like 16 probably.
I'm
And
going to stop asking questions because it's uncharismatic now.
What was your first?
I told a story. You weren't even asking.
Well,
so.
I remember. No, but I was curious about that because I was thinking about mine, which I can volunteer and which won't feel.
Yeah, what's
creepy
your
'cause
first
I'm a
penetrative-
46-year-old dude that can just tell you like
penetrative porn.
Not what like looking at like actual. Yeah, I remember. I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Like that, it was my dad had a box in his basement. And that was Playboy. He had a subscription to Playboy for a year of his life, and there was no hard drive. We didn't know that porn was infinite. So, even if you got married, you would just put all your Playboys in a box, and I guess, and put it. There was just somehow over the years we knew. It take 20 years. You get like me and my brother. Like somehow we'd figured out. Like there's like 17 magazines up on a top shelf in the basement somewhere that represent my dad's.
Carnal knowledge.
Final years as a subscriber to being a single guy in the form of something that there was no internet to look at. You couldn't type in boobs. But the hardcore thing was like we would hunt for crawdad. Crayfish, we called them.
In Milwaukee?
Yeah, like crayfish. They were like in this pond where
you've told this.
we would ride our dirt bikes up there. So it was like, I want to say 9 or 10. And it was like, there was like this creek and pond. And then on the other side of these railroad tracks, there was this printing company. And one of their clients was Hustler. And there was just this kind of general, it's like, I don't know how, I don't know by what system, but it was sort of like, in this weird place where you hunted for crayfish, part of the magic of that area was that if you rooted around enough, you were going to eventually find like weird, loose, muddy pages of cast off, like misprinted pornography. From the only periodical that I'm sure out of all that printing plant probably wasn't just, it didn't say Hustler on the top of the printing plant. It was probably just this chugga, we turn acid into paper or the vice versa kind of like plant. But like the only thing that they accomplished that made it into grubby hands that probably left and then turned into things that were amenable to the wind, like where we didn't learn anything about cooking. From there it was just like there'd be a fucking muddy like rock, and you'd lift it. And it's like, I think I see something. You pull it out, and it'd be this weird like pictorial about a truck driver stopping in a diner. But will you show me what today's specials are? And we would all huddle around
experience. That's a nice like hands-on like. I spent some time growing up in the Midwest, and like tornado season came through and ripped down the janitor's like little shack that he had. He had like the little shack, and the next day, I mean the whole thing didn't go down, but it was like partially messed up. And the next day there was porn magazines all like around campus.
That happened to me too.
Like hanging in a tree was the Jenny McCarthy Playboy one of her in the bathtub. And I remember like a couple friends like reaching up at it, like you're reaching for it,
and they never got polio.
Right.
That sounds more rustic than a misplaced
You can
Google.
parse that information however you want.
My first heavy porn was a
But
magazine.
keep an open mind.
Mine was when we were on tour with the King and I was at this point 10 years old, and we were it's hotels every 3 weeks, like across the country, and we were like St. Louis or Cincinnati or somewhere, and I found something under the bed, or maybe one of the other kids in the show found something under their hotel room bed, and it was a porn mag of pretty hardcore stuff, and it was all black people. It was like an ebony kind of thing, and it was really wild. And I'd never seen.
Yes, Queen. I don't know. I try to stay relevant.
Okay, all right. No, we just
I'm
sat
proud
there.
of you.
We just sat there in the bed and just went through it, and I was like, "What? Like, what is that? What is that?" And like, what's that white stuff? And what the fuck is going on? We were like detectives trying to like reverse it. Like, do they like each other? Are they
my
fighting?
God, yeah,
What's
the
going on?
Is that pee or is that? And
Yeah.
if it was a hustler, the answer was I don't know. That's the problem. I think that's not the problem.
Did you guys all find the porn before you ever had the talk or after?
I can't remember the talk. I've told the story before on my podcast, but I think my mom at a pretty early age, and I think with the best of intentions, like did say this line to me that I never forgot, which was like, "Do you know how babies get made?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, I really don't remember how old I was, but I remember my mom going like, and my mom would be like, "This isn't fair, this retelling of the fucking story." And I now I sympathize with her now that my comedy sketch from 2009, I'm starting to realize what I've put my parents through as an adult, in the retelling of their fucking foibles when they were children having children. But like, I remember my mom saying, like, the man sees a naked lady and his penis stands up and starts to dance around and it shoots white stuff out of it.
Dances around.
There's no
What-
contact in that story.
what have I-
it's like
what
a
have I
man
been
like
doing wrong?
sees a fucking woman and like his penis.
What was his dad doing right? Like that's a
Yeah.
I remember that was the birds and bees talk that I got, but I do think I learned about sex from porn. I mean, I could see that the grown-ups in the porn movies that we could see. My dad had VHS tapes, and we were seeing these hustler magazines. We could see that one thing that correlates to the thing that we know that makes boys that's like going in there. Like we could see it going in there, but it's still countless debates about is that pee? Is that where she pees? Like what's that stuff? What's that stuff? What's
you were
that stuff?
actively looking for it. That's the other thing. Is like only a kid needs to Google like the word boy or girl or man, woman, whatever, and like that stuff just appears.
They'll
Like
find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a whole other like mindset, which is like I was right on the cusp. I'm right at the age where I was still like looking in National Geographics for boobies and such, and hoping for a wee wee, but they never had the wee wees. But like I was like I think literally like the last generation who right before it like crossed over, and I would like actively like look for it, but if it just like it's thrown in your face. Like, well, that's the whole thing, right? Aren't we like having sex less now? That's like a thing, right?
Well, I think that's I've read those headlines where I'm like,
Right.
millennials are having sex less, and I'm like, I know why, and it ain't got nothing. Like, oh my god, like what a fucking contract, like for the rest of your life.
Well, there's a lot of people saying, which makes sense, that porn is so crazy and there's all this stuff, and then you could have it like anytime, any place, and so you could see it, and so then. And you could watch like more and more hardcore stuff that maybe you'd never get the opportunity to do in real life. So you get like overstimulated by that. So then real sex is like boring to people.
There's that.
Supposedly
That's the problem I'm
like-
having. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I do want to say
sucks
another
that
side
porn
to
does
that.
that.
I want to offer a counterpoint to that, just because I remember being a very sexually like non-functional person and reading that stuff and like really letting it add to my shame. That what I was reading was it was like the self-fulfilling prophecy of like, well, what do you expect? All you do is jerk off all over the internet. Of course, now you're becoming Gollum because you like, what are you gonna do except hang out and like polish your ring in a fucking cave? Even though that's the one place you don't need to be visible. You eat fish all day. It's like who cares who sees you? But like, and I have a million questions about Lord of the Rings, but I do want to counter that just a little bit, because remembering the amount of shame that made me feel and the amount of true that wasn't necessarily. I do absolutely think that people online that are like, I'm touching myself so much that like it's a dysfunction, and of course that's why I'm not this or that. It makes me want to burst into tears thinking about that, and I just want to say that like being with someone that you can trust, like feeling that you have permission to be who you are, it erases everything. It's not. It's just. It's done and done. You're not damaging yourself by indulging yourself. You're not. You're not a fucking like phone battery that you can run out. You're not a product. If you're isolated and alienated and numb and like however you're dealing with it, deal with it, and your libido will be healthy soon. Whenever it needs to be, it'll be right there, like as if it had. Oh boy.
Well, yeah.
I just don't want to like
Cliffhanger! Thank you so much, everybody. Let's give it up for Nova and Danielle, everybody.
If we could leave you on one note, it would be how much I'm coming. That was just a weird
That was
thought.
about how the kids are coming.
All right, watch Dope State on
Dope State. Pluto TV.
Pluto.nash app.
Channel 420.
Pluto.tv.
Don't tell the truth to human resources if you work at a place that's worth its salt. And buy Nova a drink in a year.
All right, Nova, Danielle, give it up for Gabe Sunday, everybody. And his drug dealer mother. Spencer Crittenden, I'm your comptroller, Jeff Davis, and your mayor is Mr. Dan Harmon. Thank you all for coming. Drive fast and take chances. Thank you.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.